So we have Keshia with us today. She's got some personal experiences that she's going to tell us about. In the basement?
In the basement I'd say about 7 years ago. My mom worked up here for 20-something years and they decided to clean it out. We found some braces for a child that possibly had polio back in the day. It was a lot of antique stuff. I've also heard that, I want to say in the 1800s, a man fell out of the top floor up here as he was trying to shoot birds with a spear.
Shoot birds with a spear?
Yeah, he fell out trying to
Wow.
shoot birds with a spear. I've also heard that it was a woman. I don't know if I say she was at the very top. Years ago, it used to be a gate up there. But she was up there for whatever reason. They say she was pushed off. I have no idea. That was before my time. But they say she jumped. Who knows? But, I mean, my experiences, sometimes being up in here, you hear stuff. Whether it's somebody walking upstairs or whether something just falls on the floor and nobody's back there, it's kind of creepy. I've also heard that the elevator opens by itself, which I have experienced that being up here and it opened and nobody came out.
So did that happen while you were still in your office, or were
No,
you somewhere else?
I was outside like I am now, and the door was popped open, so the breeze could come through, and I'm right there where the elevator door is,
Right.
but nobody was there. So
See, when we walked through the other day, we did look at both elevator doors. And
it's very
there was
old,
nothing.
if you
Right.
notice.
Right.
It's very
There was
old.
it didn't do anything. So, like, for example, there was a Taps Ghost Hunters back years ago on Sci-Fi Channel. They actually debunked an elevator that was doing that. And it was a mechanical failure because every 5 minutes, like clockwork, it would shift floors and open and close. So, with us being here...
And this building is like, it's gotta be, it burnt like 3 times.
Really?
Burnt down.
Okay.
And they built it back, but I believe it's a lot of souls up in here, up under here, because we do have a basement. So yeah, I think it's haunted a little bit. But they, for the most part, they don't touch me.
Yeah.
Or bother me.
Right.
But sometimes I sit in the office and it's a bathroom up above where I am, and I don't know if they leave the water on or what, but I hear it dripping in the office.
All right, so you actually just confirmed something we found yesterday. We went to the upstairs room. Our K2 meters picks up electromagnetic fields of disturbance. So we did pick up on all the AC units in the building. They have a decent hard field. When we went into the upstairs bathroom, there was no EMF field on the floor or anything. We poked in. Whenever I poked in, it actually spiked twice.
Meaning?
Meaning that there's
a presence of something.
Yeah.
But
Something that has a
you actually confirmed the bathroom thing for me. That's why I didn't say anything initially. So
Really?
yeah,
That's
So, there
crazy.
you go.
sadly, I got to miss that because every time I went to verify myself, it wouldn't do it. But every time I walked away, he would get a smile.
Really?
So, also, his camera was facing the mirror, which the mirror is either a portal or reflection.
Right.
So I'm hoping in that video we would see something in the mirror also.
That's
That would be
crazy.
nice. Because I have caught a lot just by using a flash camera or just my cell phone
Right.
taking pictures. You can actually clearly catch something that way. But with a video, a mirror does the same way.
Right.
but just without a flash. So,
Right.
yeah.
And doorways. Doorways
I-
are like a huge thing. I don't know why.
Have you had any experience with doors closing by themselves?
Then she said, uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I had that experience the other day.
Really?
Yeah, we was walking out of the courtroom upstairs, and we took a left to the next room in the hallway. Well, we made it maybe a quarter into that room, and you just heard the door just shut, like someone just went out the door.
Well, did y'all feel any type of heat anywhere?
I mean, it was warm upstairs, but
Because
typically,
some areas up there is like cool, and then some heat will come through and looking like.
typically ghost presence or supernatural presence is usually defined by cold spots. So if you're in a room that's warm and then all of a sudden you get instant cold,
Right.
and like all the hair standing up on your arm, that's that.
I will add this. It's really not just that. Hot spots is also.
Oh,
Well, see, I've heard
that's a new one
that.
for me. So I
I've
thought
heard
hot
that.
spots meant like an active location.
There's really no for sure why there's a hot spot. Like there's no cold spot is always described as a presence around or there's something that's close by. But for some reason, depending on some people say depending on how evil one is, it will actually produce a hot spot, not a cold spot. The hotter it is, more evilish.
Right. And see, but I've also heard that, like in the 1800s, they used to hang people up there on the courtyard. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that.
Well, we've
And
been to a lot that most courthouses around that time, they do have a hanging.
Right.
There's Fort Smith, Arkansas. You've got a courthouse out there, and then they've got you can still go there. They've got the guillotine and everything out there still, like historical monument. But for a period of time, they had a judge out there called the hanging judge.
Really?
Because hateful, spiteful, he hung everybody.
Really?
And there's rumored that he hung an innocent man. And when you go out there, you can see if you look in the right window, you can see him in the window out there. Now, we did go investigate, but we never saw anybody in the window.
As far as for the cemetery where Miss Kelly is, I heard she walks through it at night.
We did do the cemetery.
I had a friend, we were in high school, and we were supposed to go to the cemetery, like I guess normal people do. But the thing about it, I decided not to go. They proceeded on to go. And actually one of my friends' ankle got stuck in between the tombstone. And she sprung it real bad. But they were meddling. They was meddling with Miss Kelly's grave. So I don't know if it was her way of saying get out of here.
Yeah, right.
Or what. But I ever since then, I wouldn't go back. Now my kids have their grandmother at her house. Every Halloween, it's one particular plant or a tree rather. It turns red, as in blood red, the whole day. And by the time it's the next day and Halloween is over with, it be back to the regular color.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious.
And you have a video of this?
So it goes, it's green, and then on Halloween it's blood red.
Blood
and
red.
The next day
And I mean, the tree is not dead or anything. It's a full tree. It's just the leaves on it be blood red.
I would like to see that.
And I mean, it's creepy. I won't go outside.
That's almost similar to the bleeding tree in the woods. which I don't not for sure where that's at, but supposedly this tree in the middle of the woods, if you can find it, you can go up to it and it'll start bleeding blood down the like
Really?
how it
There's
is like surf, coming from it. So,
there's also a
sap,
tree here that you can drive through at night and it has red eyes on it.
Where is that at?
It's heading toward leaving out of Kosciuszko, but you're still in Kosciuszko.
Okay.
But you can only go through there at night and see that. And the last time I went through there, it was the red eyes on the tree, but it was also red eyes on the side of the tree. But if you go through there during the daytime,
You don't
there's
see it.
nothing.
Does this like 12 or
It's going that way.
okay? So just the main road going out of town, right side or left side?
It's going when you going, it's gonna be on your right side. When you coming back, coming into
Yeah.
town, it's gonna be on the left.
Okay. Let me check that out too.
take a mental note.
Right.
Or check that out.
When I was growing up, it was we stayed in a little shotgun house. I was young. I really didn't know too much, and I was scary. I really wasn't into all this crap, but every time it would rain, it would be a puddle of blood in our kitchen. And I would ask my parents about it, and of course, you're too young to know anything, and if it wasn't raining, it wasn't in there. It was also a
Have you
lady.
ever asked like now since you're older the reason why?
No.
Do you even want to know?
No, I don't want to know.
I just want to figure I ask.
Also, when it did that, though, it was a lady that would always walk through. She had on a black dress and she had a black veil over her face. I could never see her face.
Wow.
But I was too scared to say, hey, let me see. But that happened in my childhood home. It really did. It was creepy. I would love to go back there. I did once I got old enough. I did ride past the house. I didn't go in there. I rode past the house and just to see if it was still standing. Now, once I got teenager size, we stayed in the house on West Adams here, and the doors would close by themselves.
Wow.
And after we moved out, 3 people that had stayed in that house had contacted me through Facebook, and they was like, "Hey, why y'all staying here? Did anything strange happen in this house?" And I'm like, "Well, the door closed, Once every now and then, somebody would come and sit on the end of my bed. You know how you feel somebody just come and sit?"
Right.
Yeah.
And I would look and there was nobody there, so I thought it was fine. But you could feel when they sat down and when they got up. And it was always like somebody was looking at you, but I've never experienced it. But they was like, one person said that the doors would open and close, the water would cut on and off, and the dishes would just scatter. And I was like, really? And I'm like, well, apparently you did something wrong. They are mad at you.
What did you do? Piss them off.
But that person had moved out, so another person had moved in, and it was like, hey, have you had any experiences with this house? And I'm like, what you mean? Because, talking to the last person, they told me stuff.
Right.
And from my own experience, but
I really think it has to do with the land and like history.
well, see, before we moved in, we didn't find out until like 15 years later that somebody had actually passed away in the house.
Okay.
And sometimes it make you wonder, were they, not that they were ready to go, but did something happen to them for that to be the reason that, it happened? That's why I believe a lot of souls do walk around, not only here in Kosciuszko, but around the world,
Yeah.
because their soul is not at rest.
Yeah.
Right. Because the tragedy ends up happening like something happens.
Right. And yeah, I do believe in ghosts.
Yep.
Well, paranormal activity.
We're
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I had a classmate. We were close. He was a little different. A lot of people didn't fool with him, but I'm the type, hey, you fine with me, you know, as long as you ain't out here talking crazy. And so this particular day, I had went to, at this time, it was called Jitten Jungle.
Yeah.
It's
Remember
where
Jitten
Tractor
Jungle, yeah,
Supply
yeah.
is now. And I was there with my mom, and he had walked in the store ahead of me. So I'm like, it was the weekend. I was like, I ain't talked to him today. I'm not gonna say his name, but I was like, I haven't talked to him today. And so we seen each other, just like me and you looking at each other now. And he looked me dead in my face with a just blank stare. And I called the guy's name, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? And you know, we normally communicate. Like I
Right.
said, he was one of my best friends. And he just walked past me. So I'm going on down the aisle with my mom, and it really bothered me because I'm like, okay, we've been friends, and what's wrong with you? Tell me what's wrong. We can fix it. We can talk about it. You just looked at me crazy. This was like 5 minutes later. I searched that whole store, and he was not in there. And I would have seen if he went outside the store. Well, my mom asked me by the time we got to the register, she's like, well, what did he say? And I'm like, Mama, he's not in here. And she's like, what you mean? You said he was just here. And I was like, right. She asked me his name, and I told her. And she said, you can't be saying the right name. And I'm like, yeah, Mama, that's who it is. She looked me dead in my face at the register. She's like, Keshia, he died about 3 hours ago.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, no. And you know, that's your mom. You're not gonna argue with her.
Right.
But I'm like, Mom, you couldn't have seen him. I just seen him like 5 minutes ago. Well, once we got to the house, my mind was puzzled. I mean, it was everywhere. Once we got to the house, another friend that was friends with us, she called me and she told me, and she was like, he died like 3 hours ago. And I'm like, I just seen him in the store. I don't know if that was his way of telling me goodbye or what, but it happened.
I've had me and my mom. My dad passed. My daughter at the time, me and my daughter went through a bad situation, and when we got to my mom's, she was about 3. But my daughter, on a nightly basis for about a year, would see and talk to my dad,
Really.
and she never knew him. She never met him.
And see, that's how it is with my 8-year-old. My granny had passed away before she was even came about.
Right.
But when she was a baby, she would just look up and smile and talk. I believe that was her visiting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this and then I'm done. But a couple of years ago, this happened when I was in maybe 9th grade. A couple of years ago, it was a bad wreck. It was like 4 teenagers. They went to the Neshoba Fair, and long story short, they came through a curve too fast and it killed them all. Well, this is when the Dollar General was first built over there on the bypass. And it was a hot day. It was July. It was like 100 degrees. And my mom was like, I'm gonna run in the store for a minute. You go? And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just sit here. It was hot, so I want to stay under the AC. Keep in mind, I was a teenager.
Right.
No responsibility.
Right.
Anyway, so she went into the store and I looked, and it was 4 dudes, and they had tuxedos on. And I'm like, okay, it's 100 degrees. Well, apparently y'all going to a wedding or something, but why are y'all walking? And then too, why are y'all walking behind my mama's vehicle like that? Y'all should be on the side of the highway, not in the parking lot. By that time, and I'm looking and I'm watching them. By that time, my mom comes and she gets in the car, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "You ain't just see them." She was like, "See who?" I said, "You didn't just see those four dudes that had tuxedos on. You couldn't have missed them, Mama. It's hot. You couldn't have missed them. They were just right here." No, them were actually the four men, the four teenagers that had got killed, and I had actually seen them after they had died.
So is that in Dollar General parking lot? Okay, I talked to last time I was here, there was a guy in the Dollar General in Ethel, and I guess he had worked both stores, and he's even told me that Dollar General itself here in town is haunted.
I've heard that the one in the plaza is haunted. They say that it used to be, the street used to be closer. They done brung it up now.
Okay.
But they said it was a little girl that actually got killed right there. And that she roams through Dollar General. And the district manager supposedly said that they were in a meeting one day and she basically came up like, "I'm finna join the meeting," and the chair moved back. And it moved back up when she sat down.
That's awesome.
I mean, I think I would love to see it.
Right?
Wow.
But that's very different. But I do believe in spirits. I do. And paranormal. I believe in that also. It's just crazy that you have to think about it. And then especially when you see stuff. It's just like I was saying with my friend. I mean, I would have never thought I would experience something like that. But every now and then I do. It's crazy.
And my thing is like I don't think it's just in buildings. I think it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
You're going about your daily life and you don't notice things because you're so focused on your life and what's going on.
Right.
It's like the minute you actually stop thinking about it and paying attention, it's like, wait, what was that? Or what was
Right.
that?
And this stuff really happens. It really happens. But as for up here, hopefully they'll stay to themselves. And I mean, I don't bother them. I expect for them not to bother me.
I don't think it's
I come and do my work and I leave.
you can put some input and
That would make me feel
it would actually
better.
help her a little bit also.
Exactly.
Come on, that's the support system there, right?
Right. Ma'am, you need a cigarette?
I might need to go smoke one while you're doing this.